Hey everyone, it's Bianca Jordan from Brazen Legal. I'm an immigration lawyer that helps immigrants get legal status so they can live in the United States. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I share weekly videos on immigration news and policy changes. And if you haven't already, please be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm at Brazen Lawyer, and every day I'm sharing tips and tricks on how to make your immigration applications better. And every Wednesday, I go live and answer people's questions on immigration topics. So definitely be sure that you're following me over there as well. Today's video is about visitors' visas. Lately, I have been getting a lot of questions from people about how to apply for a visitor's visa. What do you do if you want to come to the United States to visit? What does that process look like? So I'm going to break it down really simply in this video. So, in order to come to the United States to visit someone, or if you want to come to the United States to go to Disney World, whatever reason you have for wanting to come to the United States to visit, you would need to apply for a tourist visa, also known as a visitor's visa, also known as a B2 visa. It has very many names. So you would apply for a visitor's visa by filing form DS-160, which you can find if you Google, and you just fill out the application, go through everything, upload all the documentation that they're asking you for. I believe the fee as of this video is $160. There might be additional fees depending on where you're living, but you can Google DS-160 for the application, and you file the application. You do it online. Depending on where you're living, you might be able to get an interview within, I want to say, like a month or so. Obviously, right now, we've got COVID-19 still wreaking havoc on the world. We've got some immigration policies, some executive orders that are kind of sort of impeding this process right now. But under normal situations, with no global pandemics and no crazy executive orders, depending on where you live, you might be able to get an interview in a couple weeks, about a month. Just depends on what country you're coming from. So at your interview, what's going to happen is the immigration officer is going to go through the application with you to verify that all the information is correct. And then they're going to ask you questions about your application and then also questions about your life in your home country. They might ask you things like, do you have a job? If so, what do you do? Where do you work? How long have you worked there? They might ask you about your family. Are you married? Do you have children? How long have you been married? How long have you lived where you live? Do you own a house? Do you own other property? Do you own any businesses? Do you have a lot of friends where you live? They want to know what your ties to the community are. They want to see that your life is established in your home country. Because if not, then they're not going to give you that visitor's visa. And the reason for that is because they don't want to encourage people to just apply for a visitor's visa just to get to the United States when they have no intention of going back home. So if you're unable to convince the immigration officer that you do have a life established in your home country and that you really are coming to the United States just to visit and that, you will come back home, then they're not going to approve your application. So if they deny your application for a visa, they'll give you a sheet of paper and they will either check off the box that applies to the reason why they're denying your visa, or they'll write it in. One really common reason why people's visa applications are denied is for 214B or 214B, and that is a part of our immigration law, and that basically just means that you weren't able to convince the immigration officer that if he approved your application for a visitor's visa, that you would come back to the home country. There really is no limit as to how many times you can apply for a visitor's visa. So if you're denied once, you can reapply. And if it's for reason 214B, it really just means that you just have to do a better job of showing the immigration officer that, yes, you will come back. Yes, you do have a life established here, and that you really do want to just go to the United States to visit for a short time and then come back home. If you get another denial reason, such as for, fraud and misrepresentation because the immigration officer thinks you lied during an interview, or maybe during a background check or something, they discover that you were convicted of something that now makes you inadmissible, which means that you cannot come to the United States. If that's the reason why you're getting denied, then you might definitely want to work with an immigration attorney to see if you qualify for an immigration waiver and have the attorney help you with that process. You definitely never want to lie during your immigration interview. And a lie can be anything from you tell immigration that you're married so that they can approve your visitor's visa when you're not. That's really bad. And if you end up needing a waiver, that could be really bad for you too, because if you need a waiver for anything immigration related, let's say your visitor's visa is denied because you lied during your interview or you lied on your application, and then later on down in life, you want to apply for a green card, that's going to be a problem if you don't qualify for a waiver, because once you get a ground of inadmissibility, it sticks with you forever until it's waived. And not everyone who needs a waiver qualifies for one, and not everyone who qualifies for a waiver gets one. So you definitely want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Definitely do not lie during your interview or on your application form. If your interview goes well and your immigrant visa, your visitor's visa is approved, then you'll be able to travel to the United States. Depending on what country you're from, that will determine how long your visa is for. For example, if you're coming from Haiti, you will get a 5-year visa. It doesn't mean that you can stick around in the United States for 5 years, but you can travel back and forth to the United States until your visa expires in 5 years. Typically, they will give you maybe like 6 months or so to stay in the United States at once, and then you have to leave. And then you can come back for another 6 month period, and then you leave. And you can do that until your visa expires in 5 years. Once you come to the United States with your visa, you cannot work, you cannot go to school, you can only come here to visit. So you cannot do any of those other things. You have to only come here for the intent of visiting, whether it's to visit family, whether it's to go on a road trip across the country to see the Golden Gate Bridge and the White House or Disney World, whatever your reason, it has to be tourist related. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. And if you haven't already, definitely follow me over at Brazen Legal on Instagram, where I share daily tips and trips to help you make your immigration journey and applications a little bit better. And I go live every Wednesday to answer questions on people's immigration needs. Thanks for watching.